Hey Earates, we're going to do investigation 9.3, which is current and voltage. It is from a different resource, but it is there. If you follow through 448, but if you flip through, you'll find it. Okay, current and voltage. What it asked me to do was to set up 3 globes in series. And looking at the first diagram, it wants the ammeter coming off the positive terminal before the first globe. So I've already set that up. I'll show you the circuit. So we've got our power pack, which then leads to our ammeter. Now, this is going to be a little bit hard for you guys to read. There's the scale. I did show you all how to use an ammeter a while back. I've got it on the 5 amps. But I can tell you now, it's going to end up on the 1 amp. So the scale that we're looking at is the 0, 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8 and 1. That'll be the scale that we're actually reading off. You then follow this through to the first light globe, and I've colour-coded this time. Second light globe, then the green lead, alligator clip, goes to the third light globe, and then if you follow that back, we're back into the power supply. So that's the circuit all set up there. So I have a series circuit with 3 globes and an ammeter in it. The next step, it's asked you to close the switch. I forgot a switch. So the switch is actually after the 3rd globe, and it leads back to the negative terminal. It's also asked me to put it on 6 volts. These globes should handle 6 volts without blowing. So I'll turn the volts up to 6 volts. So 6 volts is going through all of them. All right. Going to turn it on now, and then I'll show you what the ammeter is reading, because at different points, so I'll put the ammeter at different points throughout the circuit, maybe here, and then in the middle of the 2nd and 3rd switch, and then maybe from the switch to the power pack. Okay, so I'm going to turn it on. There's hardly any amps whatsoever because there's so many loads in this circuit. So I'm going to put it back to 1. Okay, let's start again. So power pack is on. I've got the 3 globes in series. I've got my switch. I need to close my switch before any current will flow. You can see that the globes, a bit hard now, I've had to turn the lights on. You can see that the 3 globes are all glowing, okay? They're glowing equally, but not very bright at all. Okay, the current, you need to note down the current at this position, so it's between the power supply and the first globe. The current is okay. So you want to count up the little bars. I'll do it again. All right. So if you look along here, there's our 0.2. So halfway would be 0.1. So think about what each one of those will be, because it was just below 0.1. So is it 0.08 amps? Okay, 0.08. Remember that? It was on that 4th bar. Close the switch. You can see all the globes are glowing. The ammeter moved. I'm going to have to show you and zoom in. That looks like it was the same. So you can record that on your diagram. I wonder if you can actually predict what's going to happen this time. I've put the ammeter between the switch and the power pack. Now when it read here, it was the same as when it read in between the other 2 globes. So what do you think might happen here? I'll have to close the switch. Let's have a look. Globes are glowing, so definitely current is flowing through. And there we go. It's been the same throughout the circuit. So in a series circuit, the current has not changed. Make sure you note them down in the different spots on the circuit diagram that you drew, which is step 2 of part A. Then it says 3, connect the ammeter different places, done that. 4, connect the voltmeter in parallel. So with an ammeter, it's got to be in series. So black terminal, negative to negative, positive, and if we follow that through, it's going back to the positive, okay? With a voltmeter, so I'm actually going to take the ammeter out. That is a voltmeter, okay? It's got your black and red terminals, all right? And it's got your different scales. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use what's called a multimeter, and it'll give you a digital reading. So you'll be able to just read the digital reading. Connect the voltmeter in parallel across the power pack terminals. So note, there is 6 volts coming out of that power pack, okay? Series circuit, 3 globes and a switch. Okay, all those globes are glowing, so the circuit's working. I'm going to connect up the voltmeter. Alrighties, back to it. Sorry guys, I just had to change that up a little bit. Got the voltmeter going. Okay, this is a multimeter. It's going to read volts on there digitally for you, make it really easy. Going to have to close the switch, and I'm measuring the volts across the power pack. Remember, the power pack is set at 6 volts. So hopefully you can see the reading there, 5.53. So that's the volts coming out of the power pack. Then it says connect the voltmeter across one of the bulbs and record the voltage. Do this for each bulb. I have to make sure that my positive is to my positive and my negative is to my negative. I've got that set up. I'm going to turn the switch on. I really do need Professor Bones' hand here because I've got to turn the switch on as well. Okay, so that's reading about 2.02 volts. Then I'm going to do the next globe. So this is the second globe in series. .02 volts. I wonder what the third one's going to be. Ooh, that must be a different globe. Should be the same. It should be 2.02 volts, but I do have a different globe in that third one by the looks of it. Okay, so slightly lower, but it should be 2.02 volts. Then it says rearrange the circuit so that the 3 bulbs are in parallel. Okie dokie. Alright, so I've set the 3 globes up in parallel. You can't see them very well, but basically I'm going to do the volts first. So that's down to step 8, where it says use the voltmeter to measure and record the voltage across the 3 bulbs. So power pack's on. When I close the switch, all the globes light up. Okay, and now I have to test their voltage. So going for, you can even try and predict if you like, guys. You can see the digital output there. We're doing volts first. So we're nearly up to 5 volts there. 4.69. That was the third globe. Second globe. Okay, what's that? 4.18. That's the second globe. And the first globe. Good on Miss O'Brien, she did it in reverse. Now, theoretically, they should all read the same. 4.89. But if they're different brands of light globes, they're going to have slightly different resistance, which could then end up using more energy, and you're going to get slightly different volts. Okay, but they were all pretty close. That was pretty good. The next bit, it wants me to test the current, so I'll just change up the circuit. All right, we're going to be working on current now with the parallel circuit. Having a look at the diagram, so make sure you've got your diagram drawn there with the positions 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. We're going to test the current at those 4 different positions. So the first position is between the switch and the first globe. So remember with your ammeter, we're having a look at the scale. We are reading the bottom scale. So the 0, 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8 and 1. Each one of those little bars, if we have a look, just use an alligator clip. So we've got our big bar here, that's our 0.2, and then you've got another bar here, this one here. That's halfway between, so that's going to be 0.1. That means that every one of these tiny little ones, that's going to be 0.02, 0.04, 0.06, 0.08, and then you get to your 0.1, right? And then you go 1.02, 0.12, 0.14, 0.16, 0.18, and then you get to your 0.2. Okay, so position 1, switch on, read your ammeter. Read the amps, how many amps are going through. I'll do it again, look where the lines are. To make it a little bit easier, you might just want to round that off to 0.4 amps. Okay, so that's position 1. Next position, position 2, is between the switch and the first globe that's in parallel with the battery. So it's below that middle line between 0.2 and 0.4. So it's got to be under 0.3. I reckon it's on that 4th small bar. So that's going to be 0.28. 0.28. Okay, position 3. So that is just before the second light globe in parallel to the first one. I'd say that's the same. Position 4, which is linked between the battery and the third globe. Now you can probably guess what's going to happen here, seeing that we've already done position 2 and 3, and that was the first and the second globe. So let's have a look at the third globe, which is position 4. .28 amps. Hey, funny that. Hopefully you predicted that, guys. All right, last one. Okay, last one. Position 5. That is now going back to the battery, so it's sort of on the opposite side to position 1. So maybe have a look at what amps was at position 1. Try and have a bit of a prediction. It's back on the 1 pathway. So let's have a look. That looks like 0.4, or pretty close to it. Okay, so well done, guys. Hopefully you've noted that all down on your diagrams. And big thank you to Professor Bones. Thanks for your help, Professor Bones.